if you're willing,
Of
I'd
course.
like to ask you, Matt Sullivan, what is the biggest risk?
Well, I think the answer is relatively straightforward because, from an investor's perspective, it's a real estate investment. It's an equity investment. So the risk to the investor is that the value of the underlying real estate decays to the point where they no longer have an interest because their equity interest has been reduced. Now, as you quite rightly say, so that is the risk. How do you mitigate that risk? How do you reduce that risk? How do you remove that risk? So the way the contracts are written, there are protections in there for investors. So when we value the property, in some cases, we'll build in a little bit of a discount so that if the value of the property doesn't go up very much, or in fact stays the same, there's still a return in there for the investors. But really, the way that we look at the risk for both sides is it is absolutely directly correlated to the value of real estate. So there are no extraneous risks that I'm aware of. There's no sort of risks that would not be sort of directly related to whether the value of the property goes up or goes down. Um, so that's actually quite easy to quantify because we know from an investor's perspective what the returns are going to be if the property goes up, what they're going to be if the property goes down. And the same for the homeowner. If the property goes up significantly, they're going to have a bigger share of the equity that they're going to be paying. If it goes down, the homeowner actually benefits because they may not have they may have to pay back far less than they originally received. um, the other thing to mention is for our business as a whole, the biggest challenge, which is a bit like a risk, is education, is getting people to understand what this animal is, how it's not debt, how it is not too good to be true, how it is a viable financial tool. So I hope I'm not mixing apples and pears there when I'm talking about sort of risks and challenges. But I didn't, we are seeing um, far more interest and willingness from homeowners, funnily enough, to investigate these types of alternative funding options. I mean, risk is a word. I'd like to finish on opportunity rather than risk. How about that?